Hi guys, and welcome to Just So Rare. In today's video, I just want to give an update on how the ETH grinding team that I created 2 weeks ago, on how it performed this game week. The content I'm trying to produce for this channel, I want it to be relatable, transparent, and honest as possibly it can be. I don't want to give the impression to anyone who's watching this video who's either new to So Rare or thinking of joining, they can put in 500 quid, build an ETH grinding team, and win 40 odd quid every game week, because that's simply not going to happen. However, I do believe with research, time invested, with all aspects of So Rare, that you can make potentially good returns on such a small investment. I'm also of the belief that it shouldn't be easy just to stick 500 quid in a platform and expect to be drawing 40 odd quid out every game week, because one, it's not sustainable to So Rare. It simply wouldn't exist. So please bear in mind all of that. If you're new to So Rare or thinking of joining and think, yeah, I'll stick 500 quid, I'll take out 40 odd quid every game week. Honestly, you need a lot of luck for all of these things to come together, especially on a small budget. And I'll show you why now with the team, how they've performed this game week. So as you can see, that is this team that I produced. I don't own any of these players. I was asked on Twitter if I had 500 quid budget, what team I would sort of buy to try and get an ETH grinding team, and this is what I came up with at the time. Now, this has been going for 2 full game weeks. The first game week, it was fortunate to win the 0.02 ETH. So that was 10% ROI. However, this game week, as you can see, has been a disaster. The common goalkeeper, I said, would always score 20. So that might fluctuate depending on who you've got. But for these purposes, I've used 20. Sorare hit a decent 46, which if every player was to hit that, that's what you're looking for, because you would win at least 0.01 ETH. Ironov, he started, then sod all during the game, posted a 38. Samata didn't start, came on, done nothing. And Niaz was also the same, didn't start, came on and done nothing. Niaz, I'm not quite sure, because he regularly starts for that club. So whether he had a little knock, I don't know. But I will be investigating to see what happened to him and why he didn't start the game. Now, I've built this team purely based of having a budget of £500. The biggest problem for anyone doing this will be getting a striker. And a striker who plays regularly. As you can see, Samata would have cost 180 quid 2 weeks ago. He starts about 50%, or he has so far, of Antwerp's fixtures. He's not a regular starter, but he still cost 180 quid. And that's the problem I'm finding. Average strikers who don't start games are going to be costing or cost in that region. And that's crazy to me, because for people who know my journey, I started 2 years ago almost. And for the 180 quid, the price of him, I could have built a team that would have won prizes. So it's difficult for me to get my head around these sort of prices now, if I'm being brutally honest. So that team failed spectacularly, scored 156, even with the bonuses and the captain bonuses. You were never going to get anywhere near 205 points, so you're not going to win nothing this game week. So in 2 game weeks, like I said, the first game week you won 2 ETH, second game week you won nothing. So we're still sitting on 10% ROI at this moment in time. I'm going to keep tracking this until the season ends, because I want to know how much it would have returned, because I'm still convinced this is the way to play it on a small budget. Now, going back to the strikers, looking at the prices of them, you need to save as much money on the other outfield positions, your defenders, midfielders, as much as possible, to have as much money out of that 500 quid you've got left. The majority of it needs to be spent on a striker. I've not researched for this now, but I just want to give you an example. Just say you could get, I don't know, your defender for 75 quid and your midfielder for the same price. Not 775, Christ. You would have £275 to buy a striker if you could get the 3 outfield players for £75. If that was possible and you could get your 3 other outfield players for that amount, like I said, £275, which equates to roughly 0.14 at this moment in time. Now, I know you can alter these filters, but I want a striker who's started and played every game in the last 5 games. As you can see on that search, that brings 7 strikers up. And I can assure you, none of them are world beaters. They're not going to be banging in 20 goals a season. So whether you look at trying to reduce prices of other positions again to like £60 for argument's sake, you need to ensure that they're regular starters, because otherwise you've got no chance of winning ETH. You need all 4 outfield players realistically to start to have any chance. So be careful. Don't be spending £30 on a defender who's never going to play, because that's just defeats the whole object. So you need to play around with filters, what you're happy with. For example, if you're happy that they've only started, for example, 3 out of the last 5 games that they've started, then I would assume you're going to get more players coming up on the search. Yeah, you've got another 40 players. So that might be something you need to take a look at also. Like I've said in previous videos, if you are going down this route, research every player, look through their career history, see if they are normal regular starters at their clubs, and take into account things like that. If they generally don't play or start for most of their team or throughout their career, then the likelihood is they're quite happy to sit on the bench, pick up a wage and come on for the last 20 minutes of every game. Those sort of players are no use to this ETH grinding team. You need, like I said, I keep reiterating, you need regular starters. So there we have it on that. I just want to touch on a subject that some might find a bit controversial because of the country I'm going to mention, Russia. Now, for me, politics and sport should never be mixed. So this is why I am actually going down this route. As some of you will know, Russian players or the foreign players who play in Russia, they've been allowed by FIFA to terminate their contracts and move to another club of their choice. And I think that is until the end of March. Don't quote me on that, but that's my understanding at this moment in time. I know Krasnodar in Russia have been heavily affected. They've lost a few foreign players. So I'm just thinking aloud because I haven't done any research on the players. But if I was looking to get some cheap Russian players now, those are the sort of clubs I'd be looking for, because in my mind, if there's a youngish, or, doesn't have to be young, but if there's a Russian player who was on the bench for Krasnodar, who plays in a position that one of the foreign players used to, and now he's gone, my thinking behind it, he should start. So you might want to start looking. Whether you morally don't agree with it, then that's fair enough. But if you're happy to go along this route, then that's the route I'd be looking at. Russian players who are playing for these teams who have lost a few players, look for players who play in those positions, because in my mind, they will have a far better chance now, obviously, from starting games. So you might want to take a punt on 1 or 2 and see what happens. So there we go, guys. That's it for today's video. Just to mention, if you haven't entered my competition to play with my gallery on game week 258, which is coming up at the beginning of April, if you're eligible to do so, please get your entries in. Please inform anyone that you know who fits that eligibility, and get them to enter. So thanks for watching, guys. And again, it's just my opinion, and you do your own research. You buy the players, you play the game how you want to. So all the best, guys, and I'll see you soon.